Do you think you still have a social life, free time, or is the PhD taking all the time you have?
Well, thankfully, no. It's not taking all the time. I would never let it come that far. No, I have a really good work private life balance. That's how the people call it these days. I'm really happy with how much free time I have. So yeah, I work about 6 hours a day, maybe 5 hours. So I go home at 2 o'clock. I can do my own things in the afternoon. I can do my training, and then in the evening I can do the social stuff. That's really important for me. And then the next morning I can come here. I can be fresh and be, now I want to work again because I already did all the other things I want to do. And you got to find a rhythm in that. And for me, it's important to have a 3-day weekend. So I always have Friday off. So I work 4 days of 6 hours, I would say. So about 24 hours, sometimes more, depending on if there's a deadline. But generally, that's my week. And in those hours, I can finish what I need to finish. Yeah, within the ambition that I have, which may be completely different kinds of ambition. Like I don't need to be in nature.
Yeah, I work during weekends. I don't count my hours. I mean, this is something you cannot say that you will work 35 hours per week because it's not true. Because it depends on the time. You can spend weeks working more than 70 hours, but you don't count them because you do what you love. So it doesn't matter how many time you spend on the things. And the thing is, I believe that you spend the time you have to spend. I mean, it's kind of you must do that, so you don't think about it. If you are engaged in something, in writing a project, you have to put tons on it. You do it. That's it. I mean.
Earlier, I'm also a medical doctor. So when I arrived here, I felt like on holidays, which was really nice. But what I've learned from my colleagues here is that you have to keep the work-life balance. This is what I wasn't that aware of before coming here, but now I'm really used to the fact that it's of the highest importance to draw the line between your work and your private line, and that really makes you happy and improves a lot your effectiveness. So remember to keep your hobbies, to be with people. It really helps you a lot on daily basis. So don't be focused on your research. Don't be focused on all the failures you have, because you will have them.
Do you still have a social life, free time, or is the PhD taking all of the time?
Yes. No, I'm having social life, yes. Yeah. I like to work long days, but not during the evenings, not during weekends. I mean, I'm basically having the same lives as I had before. I know many people work crazy hours, and if that makes them happy, yeah, sure, they should do that. But what I like very much about the PhD life, at least here at the University of Groningen and in the Medical Center Groningen, is that we are able to have and are very well encouraged to have this social life and free time next to our PhD.
Okay.
So I think we have a good environment to do a PhD in.
Well, always depends on the week, but in average, I think it's from 9 to 10 hours per day. And when you have experiments, yeah, you have to come in the weekends. And it can be, I don't know, twice in the same day, and then you have protocols of 2 hours and a half, something like that. So you spend like 3 hours on the weekend each day, Saturday and Sunday. But that's part of the deal, you know. And it also depends in the area that you work in, but you have to know already that it's part of the deal, that sometimes you have to work on weekends and do extra hours.
Okay.
In the week. Yeah.
How many hours you would say you work per week?
It actually varies from my first year PhD to final year. Currently I'm in my final year, so the work hours are extremely long, I would say. But the first 2 years of PhD, I started early because I rise really early and I work in the morning. That's something that's a bit important. Maybe if you wake up early, you get many things done. So typically I would say 8 to 6 in my first 2 years. But then in the final 2 years, the third and fourth year, it's now going higher, way higher.
Okay.
There are some days where I work until 8, and that happens because you have a lot to finish and your professors would try to push you to publish the existing manuscripts and work.
Okay.
So it takes time.
And do you work in the weekend now?
Yes, I have to work at least some weekends, not all weekends. Some weekends I work because you have COVID regulations through the week. So sometimes we work through shifts and you get some weekends free for yourself in the lab for your spot. And in other cases, if had the pandemic not happened, I would still have worked in the weekends as well in order to meet the requirements of the university.
Okay.
Yeah, to finish on time, let's say.
Okay. And you would say you manage to be as productive and you stay until 8 for the next days or in general?
I manage to keep it at least just once or twice per week, not every day, because of this. So I choose my days. Basically. So if there are experiment failures, I may need to repeat such experiments on certain days. So you have a pile-up of data analysis or written work, and in those days I stay until 8 and finish it.
Okay.
Yeah, and for example, the next day I would go home early.
Okay.
So officially it's 36, but that's yeah, as a researcher, it's always more. So it can get up to 50 hours, and if it's needed I work in the weekends or in the evenings. That really depends on the week. If there are important deadlines, then you spend a little bit more time in the evening or in the weekends.
So how many hours would you say that you're working per week?
Well, that really depends because like officially I have the contract with UMCJ like 38 or 36 hours per week. 36?
I think mine is 36, so I guess we have...
Yeah, I think we probably have the same thing. And but it can be various, you know, there's sometimes like the work is not that intense and you have to, for instance, collecting data or wait for something, it happens. Then you have a lower workload, but when it's before the due of submission, your abstract or like you would like to submit your manuscript to a journal next week, you probably need to work a little bit more. So I think roughly like the same thing that I had in contract, but like sometimes I work a little bit less and sometimes I work much more than the hours that's specified in the contract. Okay.
Do you work in the weekend? Or?
That depends. That also depends. If I have a deal next Monday, then I have to, I guess.
Yeah, okay.
And otherwise not really, because I will always have some time to clean the house. And I also like to play flute or piano, and it takes me time. And sometimes I also do painting, then the entire afternoon or the entire day is gone. So I like to do something else.
Do you still have a social life, free time, or is the PhD taking all your time?
No, I still have a social life. I'm doing a triathlon besides the PhD project, and I think it's very important just to clear our heads and yeah. So that's basically my social life, the triathlon and work. Yeah, because triathlon also takes a lot of time.
But I'm also in a bit different situation. So my internship here is only for 1.5 years. And I'm trying to finish almost 80% of my thesis here during 1.5 years, which is a lot. So now, because I'm finishing in 5 weeks, of course I do work more than I should. But that's also, if I don't work now, it will be only worse because from March I get back to the clinic. Okay. So I have just different motivation right now.
And if you do want to publish in Nature, I think you got to do some other things. Then 24 hours not going to cut it. And in that case, yeah, I mean, as long as you're following something you truly believe in, if you really want that, and you have genuine reasons to go for that Nature article, then go ahead. But if there's even a slight influence of, oh, I need to make sure I work hard because nobody from my country gets the chance to work on a PhD here in Groningen. So I need to work hard, make my town proud, make my parents proud, make my partner proud. If there's anything of that in your motivations, yeah, then any second of the day is going to be too much and you feel stressed and under pressure.
Okay.
But that has nothing to do about the PhD. That has everything to do with you. Yeah.
Okay.
So I think the real thing I want to say, the PhD is you. You know, the PhD is not something like out there, like this construct where you need to adhere to. No, you do the PhD, and whatever PhD you do, is you choose to do that. But if you think the PhD is working from 9 to 5 and over hours and weekends, yeah, then that will be your PhD. You know, but you can think differently. You can be the architect of your PhD. That's what I believe in. Yeah.
Okay.
And if you have a supervisor that says, no, you cannot be the architect of your PhD, then I would say, do you think I'm stupid? And then the supervisor can say yes or no. But then you need to have that conversation. Because then what he actually is saying, I don't trust you enough, Cyprien, to be the architect of your own success, the architect of your own PhD. Well, I don't think that's such a nice thing to say, is it? So then I would challenge that. But I see a lot of people that are not so happy doing their PhDs, but they're doing somebody else's PhD. They're not doing their own PhD.
And how much time do you spend per week on a PhD?
My PhD, like 50 or 60 hours in between. Yeah.
Okay.
And the triathlon, 6 till 8 hours of training.
Okay.
Yeah. Depends on the weather and yeah. If there
Even
are
if it's
competitions.
-5 degrees
Yes.
outside, maybe
Yes.
you don't want to go swimming in a lake.
No, in the lake. No. Yeah, so it depends on the weather and if there are any competitions. Yeah.
Okay.
In the summer, it's always more than in the winter.
Do you also work during the weekend?
Sometimes, yeah. When PMOT is fully booked. No. Yeah, sometimes when it is necessary, I work in the weekends. Yeah. But I try to have some time off. So if I work on the Saturday or Sunday, then I try to at least take the Wednesday afternoon off. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Do you feel as productive as when you work during the weekend?
No. No, but sometimes you have a lot of work that needs to be done and yeah, you have no choice.
Okay.
But yeah, when I'm here in the office again on the Monday, then I'm not that productive.
Yeah, because when you're like,
yes.
you didn't rest on the weekend.
No.
Okay. Do you still have a social life, free time, or is the PhD taking all of your time?
No. I think like if you like PhD take all your time, then you will really get depressed and like just talking to no one and everything is about work. Then it's definitely not good. I think I don't know where did I read it, but it says like it's good for your brain if you do at least the 3 different things a day. And like researcher can be one of them. You probably also want to do a little bit sport, and you can also play instrument for a short while, or just meet friends. And I don't know. I think it's important to live a life that is outside research. I mean, like yeah, it's important to just distract yourself a little bit, and it helps you emotionally and. Yeah, it's probably finally boost your efficiency in work, because if you just sit all day long in front of the computer, then you get exhausted, and then your efficiency drop. That is also not good.
So having free time and hobbies is absolutely vital, I think, because work is going to be so important in your life. You need to maintain a balance outside of work. Try to meet with people, try to go out, try to make some exercise, physical exercise, of course, and try to maintain a balance between work and hobbies. It's absolutely vital, especially in a stressful environment.
Yeah. Do you still have a social life, free time, or is the PhD taking all your time?
No, I still have a social life, and I also try to do sports as much as I can. So that's something that no one should give up on. we shouldn't keep all the weekends booked for work or all the evenings booked for work or so on. You should always just join some activity.
Well, during the PhD, if I have no idea how many hours I would work per week, because sometimes I would start here at 7 in the morning and end at 8 at night or 9 at night, depending on what I had to do. Weekends I had to be here also to take care of the animals, so I have no idea. And nowadays I work from 36 to 40 hours per week. And depending on the project I'm working, if I have a sponsor that wants to speed up, I also have to work in the weekends a bit. But I try to limit that because I want to keep now a bit of a work and life balance now that I finished.
Now, I think now I'm in a point of my life in which I am very okay with the free time that I have. I think I have a very hard training back in my home country, so then I didn't have time. Here now, even if I work more than the hours that it's needed, because you have deadlines to cope with, yeah, I think I have a lot of free time. I do sports sometimes and I go out with friends, go to the movies. So yeah, I'm very happy. I have a good social life, I think. That's not really a problem right now.